Hopefully you have no respect for the rest of your life, you have no friends, nobody likes you, and you're contributing to some of the worst shit that has ever been done, like in the history of the United States. Like you're actually, like you are an incel creator. I don't know if you guys will get into this, but so this is basically like some evil level shit. What Adept is trying to do, I think, I'm not a lawyer, so your mileage may vary on this statement, but I think what Adept is trying to do is she's trying to make the argument that her and xQc probably met the requirements or should have met the requirements for common law marriage. So she's trying to file for a divorce now because when she gets divorced from xQc, she's going to be entitled to some sum of his assets that were accumulated during the duration of the marriage. That's what she's trying to do. Gold digging, unironically. Imagine if I lived with a girl for 3 years and then we broke up, and then out of nowhere, she starts going to the court and she's petitioning like, hey, we broke up. Can we get a divorce? And you're like, well, I didn't marry you. And it's like, nah, I think we were common law married, because if you can file for the divorce, then it seems like you have the marriage, which means you can go after the assets. That's what, so this is why xQc, this is like why xQc got so mad in a few ways, because he's not really allowed to talk about it because of this order. So he can't say much. And everybody is assuming that he's a moron because like, why the get married to her? This is horrible. And people are upset that he got married, but he can't talk about it or say anything. And then this is, and then the question is like, well, how could she file for a divorce if you didn't get married? It's like, well, this is how she's trying to prove common law, basically. Is she legally allowed to do this? Yeah, I think legally it's fine. I would even support the idea if she truly was doing like common law marital duties and shit, sure. But I don't think that's what happened here. She's just trying to be a scumbag fuck. Who thinks he got married, LeMayo? Merca, I'm impressed by your ability to consistently type just the dumbest things that I've ever seen in my chat room. Like, congratulations. This is the first I've ever heard of common law marriage. How does that happen? This is a California thing. Common law marriage exists throughout the United States. Basically, if you've been cohabitating with somebody for a certain period of time, especially if you've got children, there are things that can basically qualify you for saying like, you know what, we're basically married. Yeah, we never had the ceremony. Yeah, we never filed the paperwork, but we're essentially married. And that entitles you to certain rights and protections by being married. But that's essentially what common law marriage is. But there's going to be different, some states don't have common law marriage, I don't think. Like, everybody treats it a little differently, so just, yeah, you have to look up your own shit there. Okay, serious question. Put yourself in Adept's position. I know it's extremely shitty, but you have a shot to get a lot of money. She has to go for it, right? I mean, if you can. I mean, it's the same as, like, if you have the opportunity to steal a whole bunch of shit and you want to get, like, rich doing it, you can. But, I mean, like, hopefully you have no respect for the rest of your life, you have no friends, nobody likes you, and you're contributing to some of the worst shit that has ever been done, like, in the history of the United States. Like, you're actually, like, you are an incel creator, and you are part of the 1% of, like, women that, like, incels use against other guys. It's like, women will try to do this horrible shit against you and blah, 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 blah. Like, you are the archetype that the incels complain about. And you are such a horrible, disgusting person. Now, let me qualify the out of that, okay? Because I believe in alimony. I think alimony can be justified. If it was the case that Adept was using or that Adept was foregoing a whole bunch of career development, a whole bunch of personal growth, and she was spending a significant portion of her time enabling xQc to do the work that he does, then I would probably say, you know what? I think Adept is entitled to a little bit of that. I think she should get a little bit, because fuck it, because xQc wouldn't have been able to be the streamer he was if he didn't have a wife to take care of the house. Now the problem, from what I've seen, and I could be wrong, the problem is that it doesn't really seem like Adept did that. I don't know if, like, cleaning the house doesn't count, right? You're not a housewife if you don't have a fucking kid, okay? You're a maid, all right? A bang maid, right? Just cleaning the house, paying for a maid, just, like, getting somebody food, I don't think entitles you to millions of dollars. xQc could have very easily Uber Eats. He could have fucking paid Uber Eated. I don't know what the past tense is like. He could have very easily paid for, you know, a maid to come clean the house. Like, that's not worth millions of dollars, in my opinion. But it, I mean, oh, xQc had a maid also? Yeah, so, like, I don't agree with that. And it seems like Adept was trying to stream and build a career, and arguably, she probably benefited financially more from that relationship than xQc did, because she got to be on probably the largest show that she was ever on was probably that Real Housewives of Twitch show, which came because she was with xQc, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think she was doing his taxes and managing his finances. I don't know how I'm gonna be careful here. I don't know how the courts use this, but in my mind, the philosophical justification for things like alimony comes in when you are significantly positively contributing to your partner's life, right? So like when I think of my kid's mom, Rachel, right? And I think of like all of the stuff that I bought her a car, I paid 100% of the house, I still do. When I think of these things, in my mind, I want my son to be taken care of. I don't want my son to live with a poor woman whose like life is fucked. So in my mind, that exchange is worth it. I'm streaming full time. I spend all of my time streaming, but the only reason why I'm enabled to stream full time and have my son taken care of is if his mom is taken care of too, right? When children are involved, I think things like alimony become incredibly reasonable because the woman is often sacrificing a whole bunch of her life to take care of the child, right? And if the woman wasn't doing that, the guy either has to pay for daycare or he has to take time off work. When no children are present, in my mind, I think it becomes really hard to justify alimony. Like doing taxes, it costs $500 to pay somebody to do your taxes. A maid, it's $100 a week or something, if that, to do maid work. Like Uber Eats gets you food. Like, what is the service that's being provided here that's entitling you to potentially millions of dollars? I don't believe it. I just don't buy it. But that's me.
The first day we had to explain for...
This is the type of stuff that makes me worried for xQc.
On the first day, we had to explain for 2 hours how we're reuniting as through common law. That's the thing. That's what the Canadian government allows. We've been living together for 2 years, so at this point, we're considered. I did kind of have to unleash my inner Karen, and let me explain why. Because the very first second I go up there and I scan my passport to get in. Yeah, that's how I felt the whole time. But I scanned.
So if she's using common law marriage to get in through immigration, oof, that's a rough one. I'm coming at this a lot from like personally, morally, philosophically. I don't think that you could justify like alimony or whatever bullshit or like a big lump sum payment after divorce if there's no kids involved. Because like, what is the woman doing? What is she actually giving up? Or the guy, depending on who's staying at home. However, with respect to the law, common law marriage might be easy to argue. I don't know. I'm not sure. And if she does argue it and they do divorce, my understanding is that all of the assets accrued while married are considered property of the joining, the husband and the wife. So when they separate, they have a right to divvy up those assets post-divorce based on the assets that were accrued while married. If that, I'm not a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say it a million times. But if that was the case, it would suck if the past like 3 or 4 years of xQc's earnings, or at least what's left of them after Gamba, are like potentially a token for them to fight over in some divorce court. Isn't this career suicide for Adapter? How does she win it all by doing this? She has no career, so she has nothing to lose. The dangerous types of motherfuckers to fuck with. When you're talking post-divorce, it's way too late at this point. Hopefully he has made these statements. How do you get exclusive use of not 1, but 2 cars? The room is shaking because Adept and like 3 friends